I'm going to keep it very simple today. I'm going to talk about how to rent a rental property. If you're already a landlord, then this video would actually help you. And if you're not a landlord and if you're thinking about becoming one, then you must watch this video. I'm going to keep this video very concise and very precise. That's why right from the get-go I just want to talk about the content of this video instead of talking about something else and waste time. I've been a landlord in Bloomington, Indiana in America for 34 years, and I'm going to tell you that in 34 years I never had a vacancy. So I must be doing something right. 34 years, absolutely no vacancy, and in 34 years I have rented the property to the tenants who've been very, very good to me. And also in 34 years I have never taken anybody to court and to get the rent out of them or had any dispute. And I'm going to tell you that there's a few things you have to follow and few things you have to keep in your mind how to be a successful landlord. And to be a successful landlord, your tenants are basically a customer. They give you the rent, they give you the money, and they give you to have your business to be successful, what you really need to have the business to be successful. So how you should rent the property? Let's assume that you're renting a property to a prospective tenant. So what I do, what I've been doing it, and I want you to think about it and also do it if you are a landlord or thinking about becoming a landlord. Let's assume that I'm going to show the property to a prospective tenant after 4 or 5 hours. So what I do actually, I go to the property and then view the property, the outside of the property, that everything looks nice and clean. If there is something odd looking there, if there's a little bit of a trash, or maybe let's say the trash can is sitting right in the front of the property, or some odd thing, I do it myself. I actually remove and put the trash can on where the trash can belongs. And if there is a little bit of trash I see, I pick up the trash and put it in the trash can or the trash bag. I want to make sure, the goal is that I want to make sure the property looks very nice and clean. Then also I want to make sure, let's assume that before I show the property, let's assume that the property is empty. So I want to make sure 100% that the house or the property or the apartment is painted thoroughly, looks very nice inside, and also cleaned very thoroughly. So there is no dust and grime, there is no trash sitting out there, the appliances are not dirty, floor is not dirty. I want to make sure everything looks perfect. And I check the appliances also by myself to make sure that the stove is working fine, gas furnace is working fine, AC is working fine, and no dust or anything on the appliances. Door looks good, window looks good, everything I want to make sure that looks good. Then I'm showing the property to a tenant or a prospective tenant. So what I do, I reach at the property at least 10 minutes before they arrive. They means the tenants arrive or the prospective tenants arrive. And I want to make sure that I'm there. And the very first thing I do, I view the property outside one more time and make sure that everything looks okay. Now I also clean myself, which means that I want to look decently clean. So I wear nice clothes, but not very expensive or anything. As long as I'm looking nice, as long as I'm looking like a professional, I don't have to put a suit and a jacket or anything, then I'm fine. So I look nice, I have a smile on my face, but not that phony smile, just a genuine smile on the face. And then I wait for the tenant. If the tenants, sometimes the tenants arrive a little bit earlier than what their appointment time is. So what you need to do is that as soon as you reach, you get out of your vehicle if you're driving and introduce yourself to them. Shake their hand. If they feel comfortable shaking their hand, shake their hand. If they don't feel comfortable shaking their hand, then just be pleasant and stand about 2 or 3 feet a distance with them. And very first thing you do is to introduce yourself to them and tell your name, and tell definitely to them that you own the property if you're an owner of the property and you happen to show the property. So I tell them I own the property. I also tell them about the property, when I bought it, even though there's some of the information you might think that is not necessary, but I think that the tenant should know everything about the property and most of things about yourself because you are the landlord. Majority of people feel very comfortable if they know that the person who owns the property is showing the property to them, because they know exactly what question to ask, and they also feel comfortable about it because they know that the owner of the property cares about his property. But if you have too many property, you can have an agent and all that. But anyhow, going back to the topic, so I introduce myself. I tell them everything about the property when I purchase the property, who I am, how long I've been in a business, and about the property I tell them what is new in the property. Let's say, for example, the windows are 5 years old, so I'll tell them the windows are 5 years old. If a refrigerator is 2 years old, I tell them the refrigerator is 2 years old. So I tell them everything about the property, when I purchased the property, how long I've been owning the property, and what my experience with the property. And make sure that you're absolutely 100% honest with them. Do not hide any information about the property with them, because here you're trying to establish a relationship with them. That may be a 6-month relationship, or maybe a year relationship, or maybe 5-year relationship. But to make sure that you tell them everything about yourself, honestly, candidly. You don't have to tell everything like, who is in your family and your wife and children and all that, but you keep it as very strictly to the business. So I introduce myself, I tell them about the property, I tell them about myself, then I take them in the property. And I also ask them, before we enter in the property, I tell them about the neighborhood. I tell them about the neighbors, if I know about the neighbors, and so they feel comfortable which area they are moving into or what kind of a neighbors they are going to have if they rent the property. You know that they came to see the property because they are interested in renting the property. They would not even come if they did not like the neighborhood. But once they reach there, they really want to know about the neighbors and the neighborhood. They also know about the rent, because when you advertise, you mention the rent, how much the rent of the property if they would like to rent it. So you tell them about the rent too. Now you open the door and take them in the property. Let them see the property. Let them go over the property, and let them know also that if they have any question about the property or about anything related to the property, they should ask. And also they should feel free to ask any question about the property. So they go around, they check around the property. Majority of time what happens, this is human nature, no matter how good of a property you are trying to rent, people try to see the flaws. You can have a brand new refrigerator, if the refrigerator have a little bit of a scratch on it, or the floor has a little bit of scratch on it, or the bathroom window is not looking right, then they are going to mention about it. Even though, like I said before, even though you yourself made sure that the property looks good, then you're showing the property to them, but still they're going to find a little bit of flaws here and there. And then you make sure that you tell them that if there is any TLC type of work, that is just a minute type of work, whatever is humanly possible to correct those problems, then you would be very happy to take care of them, so that they feel more comfortable about it. Now they're going to ask you more question about the property. So you answer them very openly and candidly. Then you ask them, once you are in the process of showing the property, you ask them about themselves, who they are, what they do, what kind of a job they have, and they will tell you. Now once they have looked at the property, then by the body language, by their demeanor, you would know quite a bit about them, that whether they are interested in the property. Majority of time people leave lot of signs, such as like, oh, I love to put my couch there, they will say. Oh, I would love to put my TV there. That gives you a clue they like your place. But also majority of time people don't make the decision right then when they are viewing their property. So you don't force them. You don't say too much about whether they're going to buy, whether they're going to rent the property that day or next day or whatever. You let them make up their mind. So once they have looked at the property thoroughly, now you have asked them the questions about themselves, that about their jobs or where they're living right now, or what are they thinking about if they rent the property, what their opinion about the neighborhood, and things like that. Just general question. Make sure that they are comfortable with you. And then once they will look at the property, they will say that, okay, we will let you know, which means that they will let you know. So you shake the hand and then you let them go. Don't do anything, thank them, and then once you have shown the property, don't bother them. Don't ask them. Don't ever ask them when would you hear back from them, because they may be looking at the property, and majority of people actually go around and look at different properties before they make up their mind which property they're gonna rent to. And then what I do, actually I do not do anything for 5 or 6 hours. Then I send them a text message. I never call them. I send them a text message and say that, well, thank you very much for coming and viewing the house or viewing the property, and if they have any question, then they can ask me freely, and I would love to have them be my tenant. And if I can make them more comfortable with the property and also with the lease, I'll be more than happy to accommodate them if it is humanly possible. So I open up the door again. They may have been seeing the property, different places, but they remember my property and all, me, and now it open up the door again. They will think about me and my property. They may have some question about the property. They may have no question about the property. They may say that, well, we will get in touch with you in 2 or 3 days. We are viewing the different properties. So that's very understandable. You don't push them, right? And then you wait. After 2 days or after 3 days, you send them another text message and saying that, well, let me know what you have thought about the property. They will probably not say that. If they don't want to rent your property, they will not say that we are not interested in your property. They will say that we are still considering, or sometimes they will say that we are interested in different properties, so thank you very much for showing the property. This is how I'll do it. If they open up the door and say that, well, we have this question, that question about the property or about me or about the lease, then you take it the next step and explain everything to them. Sometimes they have a question like that, we don't have the deposit, but we like the property, but we don't have the full deposit, but we can put down half of the deposit, and then we might be interested in renting your property. So you work with them. So what I do, actually, I say that, well, you read the lease, ask me questions about the lease, and if you have any more questions, then ask me. Goal is to make sure that you earn their business. Goal is there to make sure that you are working with them. You are successful in closing the deal. Remember always that no deal is a good deal if it is not closed. So my goal from the get-go is I need to close the deal. If I like their body language, if I think that they're a good tenant, they would be a good tenant, then my goal is to close the deal with them. If deal is not closed, then it's not a done deal, no matter how hard you try and all that. So this is how I rent the properties to the prospective tenant. I work with them. I want to make sure that they are very comfortable with me. I accommodate them. If they have any difficulties, any question, anything about money and or related to personal issues, I work with them. And that's how I rent my properties. And I can guarantee you, if you follow this, what I mentioned in this video, then you would always be successful finding a good tenants. And before I say thank you so much for watching the video, then I would say one more thing. Share this video with your friends. Click the like on video and subscribe my channel. Also, to become financially successful, make sure that you save 60 to 80% of your earned income. Invest that income. Invest that income in real estate, invest that income in gold, metals, cryptos, wherever you feel comfortable investing in. Because remember, your money will make you rich. Working with hands, you will make more than enough to have a comfortable or semi-comfortable life. But when your money you invest, that will make you rich. Your money has to work for you to bring more money in your life. So save 60 to 80% of your income. Invest in real estate. Invest in stock bonds or wherever you feel comfortable. There are a lot of opportunities out there. Take those opportunities and invest your money and be successful in real estate or in your business. Thank you very much. Bye for now.